horses, I'll swim through the sea, I'll climb to the mountain tops, won't you come follow me? I'll take time to notice all that I see, and after I've come so far, you know where I'll be. I'll fly away, fly away, fly away, fly away home. I'll fly away, fly away, fly away, fly away home. But life is a vision, that's how it should be. The world is a canvas, and the choices are free. At the end of the journey, where all is complete, they'll all wonder where I've gone, but you know where I'll be. I'll fly away, fly away, fly away, fly away home. I'll fly away, fly away, fly away, fly away home. Our dreams last forever, for all that we know. The roads come together, and that's where we'll go.
Fide Micronesia, my name is Jesse Mendiola.
I'm Johnny Rosario.
And I'm Troy Torres.
It is November 8th. We welcome you all to our studios from Tumon.
Thank you all for joining us. Happy Friday.
Hello. What
happy
a great
Friday.
day today.
It is a great day today. It's been a great week.
Well, I think that the Gambling Lords will have a great 3-day weekend. You know, if they'll be able to say absolutely nothing until Tuesday.
Yeah.
They say whatever they want, but come Tuesday, they're going to have some explaining to do to the Department of Revenue and Taxation and to the Guam Police Department, and we'll get to that in just a second. But first,
But the statement of the week is this.
Yes.
Don't worry, Lauren. Nobody listens to Kandit.
Especially with my loud mouth there.
Oh, goody. So, Jesse Mendiola, thank you for joining us as our co-host tonight. We very much appreciate that. Leanne, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you all for the support for Candid News.
Always.
And thank you for your advocacy, most importantly, for justice in this community.
Thank you.
And so we wanted to start with something that Jesse Mendiola sourced. So
yeah, you know, a couple days ago, I received some messages WhatsApp messages from correction officers at the Department of Corrections questioning why the director up there had removed the Special Operations Response Team.
That's like SWAT, right?
That's the equivalent of SWAT, and
They're called the SWAT team.
they're called the SORT team.
Or SWAT team.
Their purpose primarily is to maintain order should order be out of control. And one of these sources told me that there was an inmate who barricaded himself in Post 6, which is a solitary confinement unit. He literally damaged his cell, and for 12 hours, they were unable to control him until they finally called a former SORT officer, or SORT member, who's actually an officer, who resorted back to an officer, I believe. And he came in, and within 5 minutes, that inmate was kept under control. I believe, coming from the prison myself, that every single prison across this country has a special operations response team. Every single prison, because the officers over there, I mean, they work hard. With the exception of a few bad apples, I will stand up for a lot of DOC officers. Hey, and that's ironic because I was an inmate at DOC.
Now, to be clear, you said he's a former SORT officer because the director dismissed the program?
Yes, she dismissed. She disbanded the team.
Okay, and it's to save on overtime or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
I don't know what her reasons are for disbanding the team. Perhaps it is to save on overtime or costs and whatnot, but there's going to be ramifications that come from that, especially with the younger inmates. The older inmates that's been there for like 20 years, 15 years, 10 years, and are constantly rotating through the system, they know already their place at DOC.
Okay.
However, the incomers, they want to prove themselves, they want to flex themselves, and that creates a bit of an environment for these other officers who are working tirelessly, 12-hour days away from their families, dealing day in and day out with the stress, and to have to worry about management and the effectiveness of their leadership. It creates an unhealthy work environment that nobody will want to go to work in.
Well, okay, you just mentioned the whole management thing, the conflicts in management. So, the skinny behind all of this, and it's not me because I'm not skinny, but the skinny behind this whole thing is that the SORT team, according to several sources, including that anonymous letter, was that Samantha Brennan, the director, dismissed them because it was Joey Terlahi's project. And she was
the SORT team has been along way before Joey Terlahi. I'm
before.
Sorry.
Was he the trainer though?
No, he wasn't a trainer. Yeah.
Okay. So the bottom line is that those two had conflicts in management, managing the prison, and it manifested itself.
And there was a ripple effect that occurred, and it felt throughout the whole entire department.
Of course.
Because if mom and dad can't get along, the whole house is going to be in shambles. You know, and this source also told me that a contributing factor to the excess contraband and assaults on officers factor in that there is no special ops. Because in case you haven't noticed, or you remember, there has been a few assaults on officers this past year alone.
Well, there's also been 3 or 4 escapes.
And 4 escapes.
Yeah.
You know, if
and contraband found in a maximum security unit.
Like a cell phone for a red tutu.
For red tutu.
He did not have enough time to shove it up his bunghole.
And he could have, because there's a lot
He
of room
almost
there.
did. He almost, but they didn't give him enough time.
So this is my thing. I have no experience in law enforcement, but exercising basic knowledge, basic logic here, I would surmise that across the board, law enforcement training is pretty much the same, right? Standard. However, there are actually different protocols for different departments. You have Department of Corrections, you have Immigration, you have GPD, you have Customs and Quarantine, because each and every one has their own protocol that they follow. So to remove the Special Operations Response Team from the Department of Corrections, it's like removing the ones that actually hold it down.
That's like removing the SWAT team from the Guam Police
Yeah, exactly.
Or the Criminal Investigation Division.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, not to take anything away from Samantha, you know, I would imagine that she was given something, you know, I don't know anything about management or anything like that. I can't speak for that. But I wish her the best in what she's doing.
Yeah.
And I would think Samantha is getting from everybody, okay? Whether it be Anton Uggen or the people that she has her sit downs with, they all have to have their input into this, right?
Yes.
Now, as far as the warden, we know, and we have it on good authority, that he creates a lot of the issues that make it seem like Samantha is not doing her job.
For all the internal politics in there.
Okay, right? Because when you're running a prison, and Warden Crisosimo ran the prison pretty good.
I love that guy.
Yeah.
That
Warden Crisosimo was, oh man.
And he always stated that there's politics there. You got to let the inmates run
the prison.
The
inmates run the prison.
Now you're there for the legal aspect.
Yes.
For order.
Okay? You can't be micromanaging.
Yeah.
You got to let, but who are we? We don't know. But this is from the Warden Crisosimo himself, and he ran that.
Yeah.
He ran a tight ship.
The warden is correct in a sense, because in federal prison when I was in there, right, and we were on a lockdown, we got fed bologna for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for however long that lockdown would be, right? Because there's no cooks in the kitchen, because the cooks are the inmates. The inmates
so if
run
you
the prison.
Get it together, you're gonna eat bologna. Because they're not gonna bring them to the kitchen.
Yeah. So the inmates run the prison, and they don't want their program screwed up. I was about to say a word there. They don't want they don't want their program screwed up. So the officers have this respect to the inmates, and the inmates in turn give the respect to the officers. It's an exchange of dual respect.
Now, when you bring in drugs or contraband, when the officer takes that step below to help those inmates, that is when all respect is lost. Now, right now, DOC, and I think this is my own personal view, they need to figure out, because it's been so tainted.
Yeah.
Right now, they're trying to figure it out.
Yes.
And Samantha has the hardest job.
She does have the hardest job.
Yes.
So it may seem like she doesn't know what she's doing, or instead of complain, I have a problem with these officers complaining, writing anonymous letters. You guys need to speak up. Instead of writing anonymous letters, if there is 30 officers if it's only one of them complaining,
if it's one, then there'll be retaliation.
Okay, but if there's 30 officers going on strike and saying, "Hey,
fix this,"
then come on, people, stop hiding.
There's strength in numbers.
About this right.
There's strength, and somebody, actually it was my dad that told me this: closed mouths don't get fed.
Right.
You're gonna starve if you don't open your mouth and say something. So there's strength in numbers. But I do want to commend the DOC officers, because a lot of them are good, strong people.
Yes.
They're good people, They work tirelessly 12 hours a day. And I've seen it firsthand. I've seen officers work 24-hour shifts because other officers have called in sick. And that is tasking mentally, physically, emotionally, not only on the officer, but on their families as well.
Let me ask you guys something. Derek Baza Hills has taken up a campaign against a bill by Vice Speaker Selena Nelson that would unclassify or declassify, whatever the term is. It would make the warden position a non-merit-based position and subject to the appointment of the director of Department of Corrections. So that person would serve at the pleasure of the director, sort of like how the director serves at the pleasure of the governor. So there are pros and cons here, right?
Yeah.
And I think why Vice Speaker Selena Nelson wants to do it is so that it is not hard to fire a warden who's acting up in a bad way or contrary to the director's wishes.
Because he's an appointed? Because it'd be an appointed position?
Because it's merit, because you can get fired like that without cause.
I see.
So where Derek Baza Hills is coming from is, one, we need more merit-based positions in the government and not non-merit-based positions. Two, why would you subject a position like that to the whims of politics?
Yes, exactly.
So I don't know. What do you guys think?
I don't know too much about how it's gonna affect. I don't know, Troy. I can't.
I can't really answer on that too.
What I wonder, because I haven't looked at the bill or anything. What I wonder is
you would know more about that.
I tend to side on the side of merit-based.
Yeah.
But this bill that she has might have qualifications that you need to meet.
But we are in the age of the internet. We have the phone. We can call. There's prisons all over this world.
Yeah.
Follow their models. Find what works for Guam.
Exactly. My question is what part of the bill which holds more accountability, the merit or the non-merit?
The non-merit.
The non-merit, because then the director can directly hold that employee accountable and say, hey, you know what, if you screw up taking an order from me, if you mess up in your command or whatever, I'm gonna fire
okay,
you
but
like
that director would have to be holding his or her position with the integrity for that position.
And so that's the slippery slope.
That's a slippery slope because now their power trip could come into play.
So the question is does the governor appoint a good director? Because if the governor appoints a good director, then a good warden would be appointed. If the governor just gives out the position to the village leader of her Barrigada campaign, with someone who does not necessarily is not the best suited for the position.
What are your thoughts of privatizing the prison?
I don't like the idea.
You don't like the idea?
No.
I do believe we need a new prison. When I was incarcerated, I believe there were talks about somewhere in Zotnia or something like that there was supposed to be a prison under consideration.
I thought it was Ray Tenorio that wanted that.
He already selected a company from Korea to come in and do the construction.
Really?
Yeah, it was.
Why didn't
terrible.
Why didn't it go through?
Because everyone saw that he would go straight to jail if that ever went.
So he'd be building his own house.
He would be sidestepping the procurement process. He had selected a company already before any procurement document ever went out.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And so I think the Governor Eddie Calvo stopped him from doing that to stop him from going to jail.
Guam's problems, and I might be wrong. Part of it's wrong. I don't know. But Guam's problem is these leaders that we elect, have solutions for the next year and the year after that.
But not the foresight.
Right.
They don't have the foresight for the next 5 years.
That is Guam's problem.
The way I see it.
What we are paying for now is the generation before us, their greediness with their retirement.
Yeah. Oh, man, the
You're
retirement.
Right.
Yeah.
You're
So,
right.
Guam's issues, our issues today, wasn't because of yesterday.
It was born from 20 years ago.
Right.
Ah, yes.
So the leaders we choose, they have to have a platform that the plan has to be long term. All of these leaders is instant gratification, lining their pockets, their friends' pockets today.
So basically,
saying that they did a good job by fixing the problems.
So basically,
today,
the way it pans out in simple terms is they know their time is bite. Their time is going to be up soon. They maximize the most amount of their profits in that short amount of time, and
their glory.
And their glory, with not a care in the world for the collateral damage that will be left in the wake of their destruction
of our children
in the years to come.
Right.
They leave it to the next governor.
They wash their hands. It's like a renter leaving the house in shambles for the next renter to come in and clean up the mess.
Yes, I've done that.
You've done.
Eric Mandel says, "Bring back the retired warden. He will get things under control." Forgot his name. It's Frank Crisostomo.
Yeah, matter of fact, I ran into Frank. I always run into him. I run into him every morning.
He's so freaking funny, man.
At Mobil gas station, and every time I see him at Mobil, he shakes my hand. He says, "Mendiola, I see you're doing good." I'm like, "Yes, sir." Then he rubs my stomach. I could tell right there.
No, mine is Fortner. Are you staying out of trouble, Fortner?
I love that warden.
Yes,
because
sir.
I love to hear his stories.
He walks down post 8. Wait, Jess. Walking down. And I guess it's because my grandma sends him to check on me because I didn't file a visitation. So my grandma keeps calling him, bothering him every day. My granddaughter. So he ends up making a visit to the women's facility. Rare.
Yeah.
Very rare. So he's walking down with his big stomach. He's like, "Oh, what is going on around here? It doesn't feel normal around here."
I love it. He's the first one when we had reveille, right? And the warden at 6 a.m. got everybody up at the domes to go clean the bathrooms. And at 6, I'm like, what are we doing up here? That's the first time I ever cleaned a toilet, man. Yeah, that's the first time I ever cleaned a toilet, was in jail. It was a humbling experience, you know?
Whenever I see the warden, oh boy.
That when you call someone's office, especially the warden or director, who answers the phone?
The secretary.
But he answers his own phone.
He answers his own phone, bro.
I love. Yeah. And you don't play with him. He commanded respect.
Yes, he did.
He don't want you to lie.
Yeah.
If he catch you in a lie, you're finished. He will never help you.
I love that dude because he commands respect. When you walk into a room, the respect is automatically given.
Paris Mendiola Blas says, Buenas, Troy, Johnny, and Primo Jesse.
Hi, Paris. Hi, cuz.
Jason Gumatata says, no Puri and Mully kind of hiring. So he's against the whole unclassified.
Okay.
He would be on the same side as Derek Vazquez in this discussion. Richard Leon says, receivership shouts. Well, for quite some time, the prison was under a form of receivership.
Federal?
I think the prison should have received a receivership before the dump.
That's true.
Yeah.
The Department of Justice violations over Department of Corrections were resounding at the time. Let's not kid ourselves. They persist today. The civil rights violations.
They still do. Oh, there's a lot of civil rights violations in the department.
Eric Mandel says Gov Guam needs to hire experienced corrections administrators. So he's on Derek Hill's side of this. Richard Leon, I love this. Silence of the Lamb syndrome. Fran Rivera says, Buenas, Fran. Brandy Sanchez Hall says, strength in numbers. Yes. Richard Leon says, Hotel Depcor akin to GMH, all political appointees for failure. Eric Mandel says, Warden is always in control of both staff and inmates. Look at the former Warden.
Yes.
Jason Gumatalta about the baloney comment says, they are full of baloney. Brandy Sanchez Sal says, Leanne Michelle, hi, beautiful lady. Jason Gumatalta says, Hafa from San Antonio, Texas. Richard Leon says, Hotel Depcor has another Duffy and Black Eye Award. DOC administratress, shame, Brennan sinks again. Leanne says hi to Brandy. Jackie Spon Castro says Sort was there since the early 90s. Okay, so this is way before.
Yes.
Way before George Sharagi started his program.
Yeah.
Biba Guam says Buenas Guam. Jackie Castro says Flex, Johnny. Nice. And we have the goodie. Charlene Odelia Paris Fong says every time this tribute comes on, it makes me cry. R.I.P. Asher, fly high with the angels.
Yes.
To add on real quick for the DOC thing, has the federal government ever attempted to come in and take over? Because if they follow some of the federal government protocols, I believe, the prison would be a lot more effective.
The federal government was about to take over the prison if the government of Guam did not get on ball to fix the Department of Justice consent decree violations or stipulated order.
Now, I want to ask you, why has there been no attempt for prison reform on the island?
Well, because Ray Tenorio was in charge of public safety for 8 years. That would be one.
I think that's a very crucial issue to bring forth is prison reform. We have people that are in there.
Oh, and the governor now won't even touch it.
But I think the lieutenant governor, it's like one of his big things, along with Sam Brennan.
Well, a lot of the lieutenant governor's ideas aren't pulling through because everybody else around that governor is blocking. That's I don't know.
No, that's your personal
opinion? I think you're right.
I would think, because I would think Josh would have good ideas.
He has great ideas, bro. That none of that is pushing through, not one thing. And that's because the governor and her staff.
Well, she should give him the latitude to implement.
Well, someone's blocking it. I think, and that's what I believe.
Well, I think she's also a control freak.
Oh,
I think.
Okay.
I really think that. And I hate to say it, but Josh has a lot of great ideas, and it's being blocked. By whom? I don't know. I don't know if if they purposely blocked her off.
Okay.
From disconnecting her from what's the real issues, including communication with her lieutenant governor.
And before we move on.
How'd you know I was going to move on? Okay, go ahead.
I want to give a shout out to Guam Contractors Association for their role in assisting DOC in helping them to integrate inmates back into society.
Right.
Okay, yes.
I really want to do that. That's a great thing because we need more programs like that.
Well, that's why I want the farm. So we can hire the people from the jail.
Yes.
Like there's a lot of things I want to do
There
too.
needs to be way more stuff like that.
They got to.
And let's not forget to give credit to Senator Mary Torres, who passed that law that says that you cannot ask for a police and court clearance.
Oh yeah, shout out to you. Mine's 3 pages long. I've been standing in the line getting police clearance 3 pages long.
So we're going to move on to our gambling segment. Well, this is our main thing tonight. It's a series of stories that culminates in a very big fine. Ladies and gentlemen, our friends, our Kandit family. we found a way to take them down, to get rid of the licenses.
And we didn't even realize it,
We
guys.
didn't even realize it. You are absolutely
Yes.
right.
God just said, "Bam! There it is. Go."
So we will get to that at the end of the show. We build up the climax to it. But first, Senator Joe San Augustine, whose committee. Oh, actually, when you guys are talking, I'm going to check on the legislature to see if Senator Regine Lee referred Senator Celia Nelson's
She's
Bill
in
226.
Australia.
Oh, then Amanda Shelton then. My goodness,
If
Amanda
they what?
Shelton.
If they what? If they
referred Bill 226 to a committee, because Joe San Augustine's committee may be the one that receives the anti-gambling legislation, which would be the funniest, most ironic
what committee is
thing.
that?
The committee that deals with revenue and taxation.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's also a theory that it could be referred to Senator Therese Terlahi's committee because
it goes with GMH Trust, the GMH Trust
Yes.
Fund.
Because there's an agreement between the government and these, I guess, purported game rooms to.
it's the funding that they're paying supposedly on their revenues.
Yeah.
That it's a fee that they're supposed to pay into this fund.
Oh.
That supposedly goes to GMH, but they've received pennies on the dollar.
Now, let's say the December 5th hearing that the Attorney General has
In the Superior,
in Arthur Barcenas' courtroom. Let's say that the judge rules in favor of the Attorney General's. That's going to automatically null and void everything, right?
Yeah.
Yes. But what we uncovered today,
They can do it faster.
It can do it
might
faster.
make that moot
Yeah.
and just
Yeah.
remove it all.
Yeah.
So Senator Joe San Augustine says, please see my response to your inquiry below. As Appropriations Committee Chairman, I, along with the Office of Finance and Budget, are reviewing the different components of the bill and working toward establishing the different impacts this bill may have if passed and signed into law. We just received word that the bill was not yet referred to any committee yet, and it's been quite a few
You
days.
should email him back because he's the one that licensed these MFs.
Now, are they delaying it on purpose or?
Yes, they are.
This bill not only repeals the authority for the Mayor's Council of Guam to conduct a House of Cards during the Liberation Carnival festivities, but removes the provision for licensing of other amusement gaming machines that allow for more than one person to participate with various types of use or other means, allowing multiple concurrent participation, which include games intended for children's use or play. This was a very big point of contention in the passage of Bill number 19, which ultimately led to its passage, was this whole thing about we can't close down Chuck E. Cheese. First of all, yes, you can. Secondly,
What reason?
secondly, but you can do it so that you don't close down Chuck E. Cheese. Anyway, so
Okay.
initial discoveries in our review of Bill 226 include the potential loss of over 500 jobs. Listen to what he says, because these are going to be the talking points for the opposition to Vice Speaker Celia Nelson. Loss of over 500 jobs and a loss in licensing fees and tax receivables. These are just a couple of the concerns I have, and until this thorough review of the bill is done, I am cautious in offering my full support of Bill 226-35.
That's from Joe T. San Augustine.
This is
The reason
yes.
why, see how they're saying because it's going to shut down Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah,
So some senators voted no on the bill.
because of that.
And that's because they were hiding behind that stipulation.
Oh, okay.
Because they don't want to say I'm receiving money from
I see.
that person or this person. Oh, because we're gonna shut down Chuck E. Cheese, I'm voting no.
Yeah.
That's not.
And
the
because
re-
500 jobs are potentially on the line, they're voting no.
Well, that's the cover they're using.
That's the cover.
Yes, it's like a cover. I just learned that the other night. So
I learned a lot from Troy with regards to laws and everything. So I owe this guy a lot.
No, I learned more from these guys. Vanessa Bermudez says, "Cause our leaders are effed up." Joey Nanetti says the governor seems to be a puppet. Interesting point.
That's very interesting, Joey.
Richard Leon says prison reform falls by the wayside like the Liberty machines. Eric Mandel says, I love Sam, but I don't believe she can be effective. She doesn't have the support of the staff. That's an interesting point.
Yeah.
Brandy Hall says, my husband always said former Warden Chrysostomos' decisions were always within DOJ standards. That's how he ran the prison. And if someone would know
That's
about
the truth.
DOJ standards,
Yeah,
it would be
he was a
that law.
federal correction. He was a federal correctional
Yep.
officer before he became warden of Department of Corrections.
he did all of that stuff.
All
in
of
the
it
States.
back in the States.
Yes.
So his experience
He brought
is
his
there.
expertise here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And ran the prison. Like there was no
Yeah.
issues.
I would bring back Warden Chrysostomos.
Yeah, I would too.
You know? So that is the response we got from Senator Joe San Augustine, whose support or opposition to this bill
It's
is
undecided.
critical because of number one, his committee.
Yeah.
Number two, the voice he's able to give on behalf of the mayors, and number three, the fact that he's in charge of appropriations. And so Senator Joe Augustine's voice in this, though he's only one of 15 senators, is a louder voice because of the position that he holds.
But wait, what about the conflicts he has because of the money he accepts from these people?
Yes, and so if we made a complaint about that, an ethics complaint, it goes to the ethics committee, which Senator Joe Augustine is the chairman of.
So that's a
I'm not lying.
That's a direct conflict.
And I'll make this stuff up.
That's a direct conflict there because he has to recluse himself, wouldn't it?
I do not believe there is a provision in the standing rules for the recusal of the ethics chairman.
So this seems like it was set up. This seems like it was set up.
Well,
who made him that chair?
Speaker Tina Munoz Barnes. Can I have some of that sour punch?
Oh shit! Yeah.
Remember when it was called sour pussy?
Yes.
So we have. So for those of us who are advocating for justice,
it was sour puss, not sour.
Well, the kids I was around were like, "Hey, can I have some sour pussy, ma'am? 25 cents for 4." So that's Senator Joe Augustine. We were able to get comments on camera from Senator James Moylan today. And for those of you who are justice advocates in this cause, you will be heartened by his comments. Let's hear what Senator Jim Moylan had to say. Senator, Vice Speaker Selena Nelson's bill has a few anti-gambling proposals in it. First off, can you tell us if you have any reservations with any of these provisions? And secondly, is this a bill that you can vote for?
Sure. I had a chance to basically review Vice Speaker Selena Nelson's bill, and I support it in content. Of course, I have some questions about it, and I'm looking forward to the public hearing if we can get that and research more into it. Overall, I do support measures like what she's addressing. I think the game rooms, especially, that it has an ill effect on society. And we either need to eliminate them, or in my case, what I was looking at previously back in January, we looked at taxing it, increasing the tax on it from 4% to 14%. If these game rooms are going to continue, then let's generate the revenue we need to support our hospital, to support education, to support the police department. We know of all the needs that we are short funded in. And as long as they're there, then we should do something about it. But now we know there is a court decision that we've been waiting for a decision. Is it legal or is it not legal? When is that going to happen? And that question has been asked for such a long time, but I think we're finally getting closer to having the court make a decision. So I want to hear about that. But from my standing point, either if I think it should go. But if it's going to stay, let's increase the taxes. So I support Tillena's or the senator's measure to do something about it. So I'm glad we're moving in that direction, and I'm looking forward to the public hearing to see what's going to happen. If there's other measures, if we're not going to eliminate it altogether, if we're looking at rezoning and putting it in a certain place, I'm open to that as well. But the ill effects of what we're seeing right now, something needs to be done, and it should be done quickly.
So, with Governor Lilian Guerrero saying that she's opposed to Senator Selena Nelson's bill, 10 votes are needed in the legislature to make sure that this bill passes. And that's 10 votes to override a governor's veto, and that's 10 votes that you have to stick to, and during the entire period between the veto and the override vote, you have to ride these senators to make sure that they're not taking money or getting a quid pro quo from the gambling lords, because already they're being lobbied by these people. And there are 7 out of 15 who are being lobbied by these people. If all 7 fall to the temptation, if more than 5 fall to the temptation already, we don't have the 10 votes.
So wait, but we got an ace an ace in our pockets.
And so that's why when Senator Moylan talks about taking action, and Jesse, he had very nice things to say about you.
Oh, he did?
He was very thankful for it. And this is the point here. The action that the community is taking is already making the difference. Thanks to Jesse Mendiola a few days ago. Was it Wednesday?
It was Wednesday.
Thanks to Jesse Mendiola on Wednesday going to King's and filing a police complaint against Lucy and Dave Alcorn and Clifford Guzman who is very well connected to these gambling, to this gambling mafia.
Yeah.
And against Gil and Connie Joshimihara, John and Sheila Torres, Tom Sahaji, Lauren Bromley, and Guam Music Inc. Thanks to your criminal complaint against them, Kings took out the gaming machines. And then the following day, Linda's Coffee Shop did the same thing.
See, I want people to know that our voices will not be heard if we keep silent.
Mm-hmm.
The leaders try to control us.
Because they think we're going to stay silent.
They they insult our intelligence and don't actually give us a credit and think we're ignorant.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing, though, when one stands up, it should create a ripple effect for others to ride the wave until we get to the shore where we can actually stand on our own.
Yeah.
And attack these things from all angles, because now the vantage point is in our favor. Because if I filed on Wednesday, then another complaint was filed today, the domino effect is going to keep on occurring.
Well, let's talk about that domino effect. So today you inspired Kandit. Well, actually, Kandit just went to go take footage of the machines.
No, since Wednesday, our emails have been bombarded. Our messenger, Troy's personal messenger, my personal messenger, people telling us where to find these machines.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not just our voice anymore.
Yes.
It's action.
It's action, and everyone else is willing to stand up.
Yep.
I bet you're off the chain on your Facebook.
Oh, I'm off the chain, man. If anybody wants to stand with me, man, stand with me. I got you. I got your
A lot
back.
of people are standing with you.
I got
Yes.
your back.
A lot of people are standing with you.
See, my cause is straight simple. It's morals, values, ethics, and standards. That's it. People can argue with money because money brings out the stupid in people, but you cannot argue with simple logic.
That's true, and don't argue with stupid people.
Yeah.
There are some stupid, okay, so you work for the game room. I get it. Gil is telling you to go on Jesse's Facebook page and put something really stupid on his page. Okay, whatever.
A buddy of mine, he's actually a good dude, man. He made a comment this morning, and we fixed it. We resolved the problems, after that. But I got offended, man. I felt disrespected. I hit that dude up on Messenger, and I was like, "Hey, man, what's up?"
Since I've been working for Kandit, my skin is this thick, okay? Because in the beginning, I was getting people calling me all kinds of names, saying a lot, even my own family saying things to me about what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I had to go
She
to
was
Troy.
furious at first.
I would get so angry, and I'm fucking.
See, I had to get the prison mentality out of me because, when you're disrespected in prison, you handle that shit. I mean, you handle it right then and there. So I had to handle that issue this morning right then and there. So I said, "Hey, answer your messenger, man. What's up?" So finally, he didn't answer my calls, and I said, "Okay, I'll take your silence. I'm gonna take your silence as a disrespect that you don't want to right your wrong. All right, that's what's up. I'll see you at the crossroads, or So he finally called me back. He said, "Hey, yo, Jess." I was like, "Hey, man, let me talk for a minute, then you can say your piece." I said, "Let me tell you, man, you haven't popped a beer with me yet. To sit back and talk to me like the way you just said, because you don't know me, guy." And I let him understand my point. Then I respected his point. And he's a very good dude. He's smart as a whip. He's a funny guy, and I got a lot of love and respect for him. We've crossed paths a few times out and about, but we've never really got to know each other. So now that the boundaries have been set, we know each other.
That's really good and adult of you. I just call people ugly.
I just call people ugly.
when they put something stupid, I'm like, you know what, you're ugly. And I'm really sorry for your parents that they had to see you when you came out.
Don't hate me because
He's
I'm
not
beautiful.
lying.
Hate me because you're ugly.
He ain't lying.
Ugly and fat.
Oh, I love myself a fat joke. Oh my god, that's why I'm getting so freaking pokey labut. So we have more comments coming in. Amy Jackson says the circus is over. It was really good. Thank you, Amy.
How was Adaloop, Amy?
Who?
How was Adaloop?
Jesse calls the circus out of loop.
Oh. Richard Leon says.
I think Amy
Richard Leon says, Host and Augustine cries again like MCOG Angel Sublime. That's Angel Sublime. Jacob Nakamura says, Senator St. Augustine has a lot of conflicts. Tisk, tisk, tisk. EJ and Tish Salas say, Warden Crisostomo is my mom's brother, and even if he is retired, he keeps watch of our family property like it's DOC. I'll bet you he does. LOL, he still is the warden in our family. Vanessa Bermudez says, OOFF, only on freaking Guam. OOFG, sorry.
025, Eric Mandel, 0255.
That's a federal number.
That's our federal, because my federal number is 04514-093. That's how.
Man, I wish I had a federal number.
Oh, you do.
What in the world?
That's how we identify each other.
Troy gets a warrant, and he's like, Cheto, watch me. There's a warrant for my arrest. I got street cred tonight.
It was a civil warrant. I was like, don't you tell anyone it's a civil warrant. Don't you say anything. It's a warrant.
He's like, I had a warrant for my arrest. Whatever, Troy.
Jacob Nakamura asks, should we tell Senator St. Augustine we have video of him inside a game room?
You do? Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
He likes those machines.
Wow. Janice Jackson Garrido, hi, Auntie Janice, says, then we wait for election and remove him. Well, we need good candidates.
We do.
Yeah. So.
We do need. Hey, if you guys have the heart, the passion, the drive to want change for Guam, hey, throw your hat in the ring.
Mm-hmm. Don't let anybody tell you you can't do it.
Jacob Nakamura says his bill to increase taxes on game rooms, we're talking about Senator Moylan, went nowhere. Who blocked it? No names, but it rhymes with Connie Jo Brennan.
Here's the thing about Senator Moylan. A lot of Senator Moylan's attempts are getting shut down, and it's really pissing me off because he has a lot of good ideas.
Well, we had a meeting today, and I can't discuss exactly what we talked about, at least not yet. But I think what I can say is that the people of Guam are going to see these issues firsthand and decide these issues firsthand for themselves.
That's awesome.
Since our senators don't want to join the Jim Moylan bandwagon, we're going to force the issue on these senators and hold them to account on Election Day.
All right.
Hi, real Joe Cruz. Brad Hines says, now we can just raise taxes on cigarettes by 60%. Please, after December 1st. Jacob Nakamura says, we must stand together as a community against these blood money machines and the corruption that goes with it. No more. So, we had the Jim Moylan thing. We discussed action on that began. What do you call it? Like a domino, but it's more than a domino effect.
Yeah. It's a tsunami.
Yeah, like a tidal wave. There you go.
It's a tsunami.
It began a tidal wave of action.
Yes.
Because Kandit has been doing this investigative series and to help to educate everyone about whatever. But it was when you see the action on Wednesday that things just started happening, and it was like this. Those game rooms, or those machines came out of King's, of Linda's Coffee Shop, and now there's a police report filed for MTM Laundromat. And so let's put up the video of what happened today with the MTM Laundromat.
Ooh. We used to wash clothes there, baby.
Is there audio on this one?
Just now, so.
Okay, that's good.
Oh, look at the little girl at the back. Mm-hmm. Oh, can they hear me when I'm talking?
No. Oh, they can't? Oh.
Oh my God, look at my fat stuff.
You're wearing DOC green.
That's Officer Francine Castro, lover.
Okay.
Hi, Officer Castro. Nice to meet you.
Well, Troy, you're buff.
Do I come inside? Gambling machines?
Pretty bad.
Yeah, because the other day, a citizen named Jesse Mendiola made the same complaint over removing the evidence of crime. So I don't know, is it possible that you can shut this place down or?
They were there. No, babe. Last year when we went here to wash right after that proposed typhoon, remember? I was gonna, mess with you. I was like, I'm gonna put $1 in the machine. You're like, get your ass.
I lost.
Who played it?
Yeah. Look at me losing.
Look at you losing money and Richard.
$1.
I lost.
I lost $1.
Those machines. I hate those machines, man. I hate those machines.
Yep.
But I won. I won.
Yeah, I've cashed out 10 grand. You know, on the horse race though.
No, on this one.
On this one, like
this
4
one you
grand.
can win money.
Oh, I lost. One credit.
Different from the Liberty.
I remember at the game room over by Bank of Guam in Upper Tumon, one dude cashed out like 45 grand on the Ascot, the Royal Ascot.
Jeez.
Yeah.
You can cash out.
But
big.
imagine what he put in that machine.
Yeah, he was there for days. He's a Caucasian guy, to be politically correct, you know, and he was there for days. He
Yeah.
probably put in 20 grand.
Did he put on deodorant
Nah, some people don't.
after a few days?
After
That's a
he
little-
was there for
that's a little
days.
much.
Oh,
Oh,
we're
hi.
back. Hi.
Hello. Hello. So, here's the thing. These things are going down, right? Just so you know, we looked at the research today, and this laundromat, first of all, if you notice in that footage, there is no business license displayed for those machines, which is a violation of the Gaming Control Act.
Wow.
Secondly, when we did the research on the location that these machines are to find out the ownership of the laundromat itself, that laundromat hasn't had a business license since November of last year.
So that laundromat has been operating for the past year without paying the GRTs
Correct. Or the corporate income
or
tax.
the corporate income tax and housing, in my opinion, illegal machines.
Yes. So the commission that the laundromat receives as part of the consignment of the
Yeah.
machines, that commission is not being reported.
And
to
that's
the
that's
government.
that's considered tax evasion
on the part of the owner of
of the laundromat.
Yes. That's
because
correct.
for not contributing to the GRTs and the whatever income you just said, that's actually tax evasion.
Yeah.
That's a federal crime.
Sure is.
I've seen people do 20 years in prison for tax evasion.
More importantly, did you see the little girl in the
That was the thing there. The
Right.
little girl there.
And so, here's the thing about these game rooms. They're in our faces, everyone. It's almost as though the licensees, who would be Guam Music Inc. and Atlas Amusement Enterprises Incorporated, those are the only two licensees of these machines. And the places or the game room owners, plus the places where these machines are located, the owners of these establishments, they're flaunting it in our faces. They can
Yes.
just break the law. They can just not report revenue. They can just only say that they have 382 machines and only 59 establishments where these are, when we know for sure that in the village of Dedado alone, there are 23 game rooms. How is it possible that there are only 59 establishments?
23
on the
game
books
rooms?
in Dedado alone? Yes. And
Oh.
what we thought was only 2 game rooms in Jigo. As it turns out, according to the documentation we got at Rev and Tax, there are 5 game rooms in Jigo,
Wow. So that's 28 just up in the north. And
just in 2 villages.
in 2 villages, 28 gamers. And
Timoning has a lot.
correct me if I'm wrong, there's supposed to be a cap, right? On the machines that are, because they're not supposed to be importing machines because they cut it off at that, right?
That's correct. They're not supposed to be replacing the machines.
So how are they furbishing these game rooms with machines?
They come in through the seaport, of which Connie Joe Brennan Shinihara, a game room owner, is the deputy manager of the seaport, in charge of operations.
It's
I
gonna
mean,
come in
it-
the mail? How's it gonna come here, Jeff?
God damn.
What? They're gonna mail it?
It's gonna have a yellow card.
You gotta pick it up at the window.
How else are they gonna come in, Jess?
So it would make sense. I mean, common sense would tell you that the reason why she was appointed to oversee the seaport was to benefit herself as well.
But we're just conspiracy.
Well, yeah, we're
theorists
just
here.
conspiracy theorists.
Yeah.
And no one listens
We're
to
just
Kandit.
we're just recovering
Yeah.
drug addicts, and we don't know what
We
we're
don't
talking
know
about.
nothing. Now, I want to point this out. The legality of it all, right? It's illegal on Guam to gamble, right? That's already
That's
a
what
given.
Guam people voted.
That's what we
Yes.
voted on.
Yes.
So they're hiding behind a certain language in the law. Now, my question is this. If we get an actual poker machine and a Liberty machine. Let's call them what it is, a poker machine as well.
They're slot machines.
They're slot machines. If we get them and put them side by side with each other and have a gaming technician either on island or off island come in and give us a breakdown, a reverse engineering, if you will, of the entire machine's comparison side by side, I can almost guarantee you will find each component down to the wires mirroring each other.
Probably.
The only thing different is there's no aces, queens, jacks, and clubs on one side, and the other side has the aces, queens, jacks. So the Liberty has the Indians, the baseball fields, and whatnot, which is the symbols, and these poker machines that are supposed to be illegal have the aces, queens, jacks, slots. So, but remove the images, and you have a skeleton of a poker machine.
Well, these boxes that these things come in, that these things are built in, they're the same boxes.
They're the same boxes.
That you
But
see in the casinos.
correct, I heard, I don't know if it's true, I heard that the Liberty machines are specifically manufactured for Guam.
I don't know. I have no idea. But here is what we do know about not just Guam Music Inc. and not just Atlas Amusement Entertainment Incorporated. Now, those two companies are the only two companies that are licensed to own these machines and to operate these machines.
Okay.
On consignment, right? They put these machines in certain places that they do not own. In certain businesses and facilities they do not own. Okay. Then they have their own facilities that they do own and, whatever, right? That's not a consignment. That's just a full operating business with whatever.
Yeah.
It's like a wholesale owning a store.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what it is. Thank you.
In layman's terms.
And so in just a minute, I'm going to show you guys the names of the owners of these game rooms.
Okay.
And you will, it's kind of shocking. It really is. It is more than just Gil and Connie Joshinihara, who themselves are social climbers. That's really what they are. They're social climbers. They donate to the church, and they're Eucharistic ministers.
They go to
and
mass every day.
They go mass.
When you go and line up for mass and to get the bread, that lady gives you that bread. No, I'm not kidding.
Yeah. Oh, she's the one that's giving the bread?
Giving the bread at Chico Church.
The audacity.
Well, there wouldn't be anything wrong with that, except they don't speak very well of people like us. And I'm not talking about the three
dirty
of us.
People.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The dirty people.
I'm talking about the people who need the help, the sinners, the.
Have you ever noticed Christians are the most judgmental?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, honey. Yes, they are.
So they're very judgmental people, but it's not just them. It's not just them. And I don't know what Lauren Bromley is like. I think she's just a businesswoman who lives in Arizona or Chicago or wherever it is and comes to Guam every now and then to look after her business. And another news story that we're going to bring to you either this weekend or next week, there is a story of a really bad internal fight that is occurring within Guam Music Inc. But that's a whole other story.
Okay.
That's a whole other story that we'll bring you on some other date. But
you think that internal fight could also be a cause? Will also contribute to the fall, the downfall of this empire?
They managed it so far. They managed it internally so far, and it hasn't spilled over into the public realm. What is in the public realm is the taking of so much money from people who can least afford to give that money up, and it preys on the addiction of people who already are struggling with drug addiction.
Yes. Some people have said it's a choice.
It's
not. Here's the thing about addiction. Initially, it begins as a choice, but addiction spans months to develop that habit. And there's that pleasure-receiving part of the brain, that exhilarating feel you get when you're going for a jog or a run or a 5K and you feel so good right after. That's the same feeling you get when you're high or when you're gambling.
Well, and so these are the people who, ironically, these game room licensees or these machine licensees and many of these game room owners whose names I'm going to talk to you about in just a second, look down on us dirty people who have heathens. Thank you, Cello. Heathens of society who have all of these problems and bring all of these problems, yet it's our money that they take.
Yeah.
That's why we call this, part of the reason we call this blood money is because of that. But let me just tell you about the caliber of people who own these game rooms, and you don't hear them shouting to the top of their lungs in their resumes and their curriculum vitae that they are owners of these game rooms. They are hiding it from the public, except you cannot hide official documents at the Department of Revenue and Taxation. So let's get started with some of these people. Well, you know what?
Let's see some of the comments.
Well, let me just. I want to read something. I want to read something as a precursor to all of this. 1 second. Hang on. Where did I put that thing? Where in the world did I put that thing?
What are you drinking? What's that?
Mountain Dew.
Oh, it's
Baby want water, baby?
That's right. And Chelo, we have the pictures and stuff ready, right?
Yes.
Okay, don't cast on my screen, please, but just go ahead and go to the pictures right away.
Okay, stand by.
So this is the summary of the research that we conducted today after getting the documents from Rev and Tax yesterday, and then going back to Rev and Tax today to look into the ownership of several of these game rooms. By far, Gil Shinhara and Port Deputy Director Connie Jo Brennan have the most licenses to operate game rooms on island, with the House of Liberty, Agania, Barragata, Ordot, and Jigo. They placed these game room business licenses under their company called Takekuma LLC, of which Connie Jo Brennan Shinhara is the managing partner. And Guam Music Inc. lawyer Randy Cunliffe even owns a game room. Cunliffe, the law partner of First Gentleman Jeff Cook, owns Lucky Land Game Room.
And that's the governor's husband.
Yes, it is. And then there is Lucy and Dave Alcorn, owners of Global Food Services, and they own the business license for the machines just taken away following a police complaint by Jesse Mendiola at their restaurant King's Harmon. How about well-known millionaire businessman Emilio Uy, philanthropist? He is hailed as a civic leader and philanthropist. He owns the business licenses to 2 gambling operations: the gambling machines at the Micronesia Mall Funfair Children's Amusement Park, and also inside their offices. The Okada family of Guam own quite a few game rooms as well. Oh yes. Sugunadza Hadza game room in Agate is owned by Sandra Iseki Okada, president of TASA, Traditions Affirming Our Seafaring Ancestry. Her family company, Okada and Associates, owned by Jose and Alicia Okada, owned the remaining Sugunadza game rooms. And finally, Winner One Game Room at Blue Lagoon Plaza in Tumon is owned by Jonathan Shea, who also ran the 2019 Liberation Big and Small Gambling Operation, as well as Young Hyun Ju and their registered agent Won Sun Min. Young Ju and Won Min are both prominent real estate agents, and Min is a well-known bingo operator who previously was embroiled in controversy with the Shriners Club over her operations.
Wow.
Ain't that amazing?
That is amazing.
Well, check this out. Go ahead and go to camera 3, Chelo.
Camera 3.
This is our murder
pounds.
whiteboard.
That's 30 pounds on me.
Let's see. No, it's, oh shoot, I have to like go up here, right? So this is...
I'll focus it.
This is the gaming operations over at Fountain Plaza, just right next door. LV Venture. Owners Mei Hui Chow, Johnny Yan, and David Yan. I have to go back to that one. Hali Hadza Inc., Sandra Okada, Angelica Okada, and a 1 point authorized shares. That's the shares that haven't been sold. BT International at 152 East Santa Monica Avenue. Thomas A. Pizza Haji. It's together. At 245A Westbrook Street, enterprise name Okada and Associates Inc., the owners Jose C. Okada and Alicia Okada.
So these are the owners of the game rooms?
Yes, they are.
Every establishment on the island?
Well, the 59 that are reported.
Wow.
Here's another Okada and Associates for the other Sugunaza. The restapling of this
What is this
messing me
5,000
up.
shares, 10,000 shares?
There's the interesting one. This is Fun Fair in Micronesia Mall. Venison Corporation, the owners are, and I need to look into who owns Sunhill Corporation because they have the most shares. Sunhill Corporation, Emilio Uy, Rowena Tan Chua, Avelina Cheng, Emily D. Cheng, Harry P. Schnell Jr., Joseph T. Chua, and then outstanding shares of 150,000.
Wow.
That's together, sorry. They're Yangs. Winster 2.
Yes, who owns that?
Winster 2 is owned by Sun Il Kwan. And this is at the Choose building in Dededo. Oh, I know where that is. I didn't even know there was a game room in there.
Yeah. Yep. There's actually Winster 1 and Winster 2.
Johnny's Game Room, and this is at Unit 10 Marine Corps Drive, Lot 70103-1 Gigo, owned by John C. Torres.
Oh.
Okay. This is the office location, the not Fun Fair, but within the office of the Venison Corporation, same owners. Emilio Uy, Sunhill Corporation, Rowena Tan, Avelina Cheng, Emily D. Cheng, Harry P. Schnell Jr., Joseph T. Chua, and outstanding shares. Lucky 777 Corporation at 192 Chalon, San Antonio. Is that where kimchi store used to be?
Yeah.
The old kimchi store?
Yep.
Owned by
I've played there.
Chong Suk Cho, Jose Onadera, and Tae Hee Moon. Wow. This is the same thing. 999 Game Room, owned by Po Sam Xiao. This is at the Daily Plaza in Dededo. Did you guys know that there are Liberty machines inside Century Plaza?
Yes.
In Central Lanes, the bowling alley?
I remember that from years ago.
Yeah. But it's segregated.
It's segregated. Yeah. It's separated from the bowling alley.
But it is within the premises
Yes.
of an establishment that allows children.
Yes.
The agent name is Gordon Chu. The owners, Siu Lin Tan. Oh my goodness, I think that's the... Holy cow, this is the Tan Holdings people.
Wow. So I want to ask this: do they own the buildings that the machines are housed in?
Yes. This is the business license for Century Plaza and Central Lanes.
So the machines are owned by Guam Music Inc. Everything, all the machines.
This one is... I believe this one is Guam Music Inc. Yeah.
Wow.
Siu Lin Tan, that's a very big name. Gordon Chu. I'm not saying anything bad about you, Mr. Tan. Jerry Tan, Siu Ching Chu Chang, Lily Tan. Oh my God, these are all the big ones. Yeah. Let's just skip over that for a second. I like breathing. Hey, Tans, you're wonderful people. Unity Development Corporation or Wonderful World of Whimsy. This is good. Wow. Oh my goodness. Within Whimsy.
No, that's closed down already. Troy.
This is the same one. No, according to this, these licenses
are active.
As of this year, they were renewed this year.
Wow.
So if they did close down, that's another story.
Yeah.
Where are those machines being operated if they're not at Whimsy? Because
they could be how shall I say this? Registering the machines at these locations, but being utilized at another location,
which would be illegal. This one is OK Fun Corporation. Agent name Yun OK Kim, and the owners Yun OK Kim and Hee Yun Kim.
I think that's Oak.
Oak? Oh, not OK. Sorry, sorry, Miss Kim. Oh, this is the same.
They all look the same.
This is the same one. Oh yeah, we can't make racist jokes either. The algorithm picks it up. Sorry. Otherwise, I'd be making them all the time, and I'd be making more fat jokes too.
The algorithm picks them up.
Yeah, freaking Facebook, man.
Wow.
Tower of London. I love Tower of London. I had no idea they had game
Yes,
rooms
they have
there.
a game room on the side of the store.
Well, their owners are Heidi Meyer, Ralph Meyer, Catherine Meyer, William C. Middlebrook, Rosamund Brown, George Dance, Stephanie Denise Meyer, and Kevin Reynold Sear.
This is interesting, Troy.
Bellagio International Inc. This one is very interesting. Oh, no, this is another one. This is the second one. Bellagio International Inc. owns the game room at 340 San Vittorius Road, number 302 Ipao Plaza. The owners are Shoro Hayashida, Noritoshi Kakiuchi, and Jesus R. Cruz.
Are these including the pachinko machines, the balls?
Yes, if there are Liberty machines in that same pachinko outfit.
Oh, okay.
Now, hang on. Now, this one is very interesting. Now, Bellagio International Inc. also has a game room, so they say, at 202 Tuen Wakin Santa Street, Tumon, Guam. This is very interesting because we are on Tuen Wakin Santa Street in Tumon.
No game room
and
here.
there is no game room.
There's no
here.
game room here.
No. Now, apparently, there used to be one at Akansa Mall.
Yes,
but it's not there anymore.
And the license is still active?
This license was renewed this year.
So potentially,
Maybe here,
poten-
at that hotel there. If we drive, we go.
There's
to
a hotel
back.
in the back.
You know how we can go the back way?
Yeah.
Maybe at that hotel there's a game room in there.
You're talking about Grand.
Yeah.
It's the Grand Hotel.
Yeah, at the back side.
So
you know
I-
when we go to the shortcut
And
here.
they hold a bingo there. There's a bingo there.
yes.
Is
Behind
that
the-
also Tuen Wakin Santa? I thought that's another.
Yeah.
I thought there's a name to that road.
No, this lane.
Oh,
This
okay.
is the end of the road.
Okay.
I wonder real
Maybe.
quick. Do you think that these businesses that the addresses you're speaking of, and they don't have machines currently there, do you think these owners of these establishments are getting kickbacks from Guam Music Inc.?
I don't know. I mean, it's possible. I mean, there's a lot of unreported revenue.
to use their address as a place of business.
The crazy part about here is
That's money
revenue
laundering.
and tax.
Yes,
is
money
not-
laundering.
Revenue and tax is not going out and checking these machines.
Yeah.
Well, guess who the chief inspector of the compliance branch was for several years until he was elected senator?
Joe
San Augustine.
San Augustine.
And we confirmed with Rev and Tax that they don't have they have not one single inspection report. They have not done one inspection of these Liberty
Right there.
machines. This is Takekuma LLC. Now, this is a funny one because they don't list their owners, just like everybody else does, except that they listed 245 San Roque Drive
Where's
as
that
their
at?
address. That's Gil and Connie Joshinahara's address.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's up in Diderot, isn't it? Oh, no, Barragata.
It's in
Yeah,
Barragata.
Again, yeah?
No, San Roque
Yeah,
Drive
it's
is
Barragata.
Barragata. Another House of Liberty in Ordot, Takekuma LLC, same owners, Gil and Connie Joshinahara. Linda's Coffee Shop. Everyone knows where Linda's Coffee Shop is. One second. This is all mixed up. Oh, here we go. The owners, Pedro Pangilinan, Rosalia Pangilinan, John C. Torres, Andrew S. Leon Guerrero, Thomas A. P. Tahaji, Mary P. Kanata, and by far the most is the Dongo Trust.
Wow.
King's Restaurant. King's Restaurant, owned by Freddie Van Docks. She passed away, though.
Yes.
Freddie or David Alcorn.
It says they're dissolved, so you don't have to say their
Oh.
names. It's
Oh,
all
interesting.
Whoever's names. When it's dissolved, that means they're no longer part of it.
Oh, okay. So then the only ones left are Derek Alcorn, who is David Alcorn's son, and Global Food Services LLC, which is owned by Lucy Alcorn. And they have some explaining to do. Bedrock Enterprises LLC, operating Lucky Land. Agent name F. Randall Cunliffe. Owners Insuk Chu Ko. Durf Enterprises LLC, we have to look into that. F. Randall Cunliffe. F. Randall Cunliffe, Stacy Jean Ilarmo, Heather Oliver, and Jason Cunliffe. Sharguts, oh, I'm sorry, that's the name. Sang Hui Sharguts, Club SK, owner. American Legion Guam Post number 53. This is it's not an ownership. It's more of an association. Okay. It's a nonprofit association. Its officers or its owners or whatever, Chris Chip and John Desims. Until recently, there were 3 others who dissolved their interests on June 17 of this year, and then prior in 2012 and 2011. Who is this one? I believe this is another.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you.
I don't have the first page of this, but it looks like another one of the VFWs.
VFWs. Wait, my glasses go.
88 Leisure Game Room, sole proprietorship to Guo Kwan Su. And that is a game room in Barragata. Okay, here's the other part, sorry. Oh, and one more. Downtown King B Restaurant and Lounge. That's the one that used to be Downtown Q's in Anigua. And the
Downtown
ownership
Q's.
is...
That's on the first floor.
No, the first floor is
The game room.
Oh, is it or is
Yeah.
the first room? Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because the pool hall was upstairs and it broke.
This is interesting. Just July 25 of this year, 4 of the owners dissolved their ownership, and what remains is Lawrence F. Castro, Cherie Blas, and Peter J. Blas. It's interesting. CJJ Corporation, owner of Winner One. This is at number 230 Pali San Vitoris Road, Tumon, at New Pacific Plaza, Blue Lagoon. This is the one that's owned by Wan Sun Min. Hold on. Pardon me, the registered agent is Wan Sun Min. The owners are Young Kyun Ju and Jonathan Shea.
Jonathan Shea, that name sounds familiar.
Lucky 2 game room issued to Tuyet Alkins. And the owners, Trung Ngok Nguyen, Lan Mai Tun Nu. Oh my gosh, I would have so much fun with all this. Lin Mai Tun Nu and Tak Nok Nguyen. Those last 2, sorry, disregard. They dissolved in 2013. So the only 2 are Trung Ngok Nguyen and Lan Mai Tun Nu. Oh my gosh, that sounded so dirty. Lan Mai Tanu. Lan Mai Tanu. Route 1 Amusement, Okada and Associates. Oh gosh, where's the second page of this? We have to put this to the side because the ownership documents are right here or somewhere in here. Post 1509, Veterans of Foreign Wars. Sean Elliott and Lonnie Clark. Franny's Cheers Corporation. This is in owned by Francis Barbara Ann Napati Castro. I'm sorry, Francis Ann Napati Castro is the managing agent. Oh, also the owner. Here's that CJJ, right? Is this CJJ? Oh no, this is Winner 2. Winner 2 by CJJ Corporation. The registered agent, Wan Sun P. Min. This is at Blue Lagoon Plaza. Owners, Young Kyun Ju and Jonathan Shea. Oh, here's that Tuyet M. Alkins Corporation. Agent named Trung Ngok Nguyen. Oh, I think that was just a part of the other one that we read. Too bad I didn't get to read that second name. Good Time Lounge. Name issued to Jennifer P. Cruz.
And this is a sole proprietorship. This is owned by Jennifer P. Cruz. Do you guys know who that is? I'm trying to figure that out.
No idea.
And then I have no idea where the rest of this LV venture is. It's the Lucky 888 game room. But I'm missing a couple of documents here. Hold on. Okay, so the ones where I cannot, I screwed it up in the order here, is Okada and Associates Inc. for Route 1 Amusement, which would be the same Okadas that we named in the previous game. The Sugunaza is the same owners. And then this, man, I wish I could remember who owns this LV Venture Lucky 888 game room. I think it was a big one. And I just don't have the document in front of me.
Wait, Lucky 888, isn't that the one, the OCGs?
LV Venture? Let me see if there's an address. No, this is Satina Mall.
Oh.
This is a different one.
That's
Satina Mall.
across
Where's this
the
in?
Old Samaritan, right? Good Samaritan?
No, next to the Pela Senderito.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That one's the right
yeah.
mall.
I don't like that game room.
I never went there.
Yeah, that game room you lose.
So think about that, people. Think about the names that are highly recognizable in the ownership of some of these game rooms.
So, just for clarification, every name you mention here, they own the infrastructure that these machines are in.
Yes, they own the game rooms.
So they're getting a percentage of the profits, and Guam Music Inc. gets more of it. So, let's say these individuals want to wash their hands clean now. That means one by one, they'll all fall down.
I mean, if they do, if they want to
If
give
they
up
do-
that money.
If they want to give, if they want to give that money.
If they want to give up that money that they have on consignment, and it's questionable whether they're paying taxes. Now, we're not done. Me and the lady at Reverend Tax, who I'm working with to get all these documents, we're actually not done scrubbing through the list of 59. But there are a couple of these places where there are licenses issued for the machines, but there is no license for the business itself.
So where's the?
For example,
they're supposed to pay GRTs on that.
That's correct.
Property.
For example, MTM Kim's Laundromat does not have a business license.
Okay.
For example, they're in the list in this stack of documents right here. This is where the business licenses for each of those machines is issued to, along with the address of the business location. Some of these business locations don't have names. They just have lot numbers.
Wow.
Yeah. And so now we cannot jump to a conclusion and say that they're evading taxes. We don't know that yet. We have to do more research to find out whether, in fact, this is true. But what I can tell you is, as the person at Reverend Tax was pulling this stuff up and realizing that there was no business license attached to the location where the machines are,
Yes.
she began referring those over to the compliance department
Now, what is the compliance department's duties?
to investigate and to bring charges of tax evasion if that's necessary.
Now, are they held to federal standards, federal laws?
I don't know. I know that we have a mirror image tax system.
Because is there a possibility for the investigation to be tainted?
Of course. Of all these years they didn't have one
Single investigation.
what do you call that? Look at inspection of any of these machines. They only have 382 registered machines in the system. They only have 59 game rooms registered in the system. We know that there are 1,200 of these machines. Obviously, all of these discrepancies exist because no one enforced anything.
Exactly.
And in a notation that we found in one of the incorporation documents for one of the businesses, there's a notation from the supervisor of the registration branch for GRT that says in handwriting, make it easy for them.
Wow.
Yeah. All on public record.
Wow.
Now.
This is a thick stack, though.
Wait, where are you going,
I
Charlie?
need to use the restroom.
Okay, we're gonna wait for you to come back because
Yeah.
there's a big reveal coming.
This is a thick stack right here. You okay, honey?
So this is not Cracker Jack research, all right? It took like quite a few cigarette smoking sessions outside of Reventax.
Yeah.
Away from, I have to like be cognizant of this whole like smoke 20 feet away from the front door, and like I don't smoke where there's a no smoking sign behind me because like, the last I need is to be on Mariana's dirty laundry for like breaking the law. You know, one of those pictures.
Yeah. You know, but Troy, I want to take this real quick moment while Johnny's in the restroom just to thank you for doing what you're doing.
Oh my gosh, I do this from the bottom of my heart facsimile.
Yes.
Like,
Yes. I evidently I see that very clearly, and you're doing a justice yourself for the people out there.
well, don't get me wrong. You know, my motives are not 100% pure.
Altruistic.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. What I really appreciate about this is looking at these SOBs
Yeah.
who've been looking down on people like us for a long time, and looking them in the eye if they even dare to stare back, and saying, "Ha,
Yeah.
got you." You think it was fun to go through the public embarrassments that we've been through?
Yes.
It's your freaking turn.
Yes.
And I wish I could cuss because I have a lot of cussing to do as I express this, but I'm not going to because I'm
Yeah,
going to
because we don't want to
jail.
go to Facebook because I really get upset when you're in jail. I'm sorry. It screws up my 4 o'clock morning.
Now comes for the big reveal. Jesse, you have no idea how what you did at King's on Wednesday was 50% of the equation in taking down all of the Liberty machines. And the only reason I say 50%, actually it's more like 80%, because that's Guam Music Inc. Guam Music Inc. is the licensee of the machines that were on consignment at King's. Okay? Very important to remember that Guam Music Inc., not King's, but Guam Music Inc. is the licensee. King's is only important for one reason in this, okay? Now, today at MTM Kim's Laundromat, those machines that were in there are licensed to Atlas Amusement Enterprises, which was 20% of the equation in taking down all of the machines. But if it was only just King's, if it was only just Guam Music, you would have been able to solve 80% of the 80% of the machines would go down today. Or Tuesday is when we're going to file the complaint with the Director of Revenue and Taxation.
Okay.
Now, let's go. Let us go to the law. Go ahead and cast to my screen, Shalom. Oh, I hate it when it does this. Or let me just view. This is the Gaming Control Act. Subsection 7156. This is what you based your criminal complaint on. You
Yes.
had it written and everything, right?
I had it all down.
If you recall, what you complained about was that 7156D,
D.
right? So where's my cursor?
It is unlawful.
So here's A, B, C, D. It is unlawful for any licensee to permit the presence of any person who is less than 18 years of age within the premises where gaming is being conducted. Let's consider this for a minute. There are known places based on these filings and based on public knowledge of what is where, that King's Restaurant, Linda's Coffee Shop, MTM, Laundromat, SK Laundromat, Funfair, Central Lanes. Is there something I'm missing?
And another laundromat in Barragata.
Wonderful World of Whimsy, and another laundromat in Barragata, right?
Yeah.
So these 7 or 8 establishments already are in violation of this, right?
Okay.
Now, you would think that those places should be closed down because of their violation of the law. But it's not the places that counts here.
Oh, is there further?
Oh yes, there is. Let's go to page 38. And this Gaming Control Act is 74 pages, so it's kind of easy to miss things. This is not something that Johnny saw until today. Subsection 7140 says suspension or revocation of license, grounds, and penalties.
Oh.
Any limited gaming license granted by the commission may be suspended for up to 6 months or revoked for any cause which would have prevented its issuance or for any violation by the limited gaming licensee or any officer, director, agent, member, or employee of a limited gaming licensee of this act or any rule or regulation promulgated by the commission or for conviction of a crime involving moral turpitude or a felony after notice to the limited gaming licensee and a hearing upon proof by a preponderance of the evidence as determined by the commission. Now, let me ask you, Jesse.
Yes.
When you were inside King's Restaurant in Harmon, were there not 2 Liberty machines in operation?
That is correct.
And is that not on video?
That is correct.
And were there not at least 5 children inside King's Restaurant at the time that you were there?
5 children within my eyesight. There could have been more on the other side of the restaurant.
And was that caught on video?
That is correct.
That is correct, right?
Yes.
There is a preponderance of evidence that there were children allowed on the premises in violation of subsection 7156D of the Gaming Control Act.
So having said that, Guam Music Inc.'s license should be revoked for 6 months up to...
No, that's suspended for 6 months.
Or suspended.
But because of the violations, a violation like this means that they could have their licenses revoked. After a hearing, after notice of a hearing is given, and so this is the due process part of everything, right?
Okay.
So let's say that Johnny Rosario on Tuesday morning, because Monday's Veterans Day, happy Veterans Day.
Yeah.
On Tuesday morning, she files a complaint with Daphne Shimizu, the Director of Revenue and Taxation, and she says, "Dear Daphne, we have evidence, a preponderance of evidence supporting that Guam Music Inc., at a location where its machines were consigned, was in violation of 7156D of the Gaming Control Act, and therefore we ask that she revoke their licenses as stated in subsection 7140 of the Gaming Control Act. Then a notice of a hearing would be issued to Guam Music Inc., because it's not King's that's the licensee. It's Guam Music Inc.
Yeah.
And so go back to the camera 3, Chalu.
That's an interesting...
So here's the deal with these licenses. Now, as we said, there are only two businesses that have the licenses to these machines.
The registrations and the licenses for the machines.
GMI. Oh, that's not a marker. GMI.
Yeah.
Right?
Guam Music Inc.
And Atlas Amusement. Right?
Yeah.
Now, under GMI and consignment, there are all of these game rooms. Right? Let's say game room 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 100.
Okay.
Right? Under Atlas Amusement, there's 3 game rooms. Let's just say 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
If game room 4 had these devices
and we're in
on premises where children are allowed, then game room 4 has violated the license requirements, right?
Yes.
But game room 4 doesn't have the license to the Liberty machines.
It's Guam
Music Inc. So because of what game room 4 did, it's sort of like infecting the mother brain.
Oh.
It sent a virus, a legal virus, up to Guam Music Inc., and that destroys all of their licenses. Now, the same thing happened with MCM Kim's laundromat.
With Atlas being in
violation, the same thing happened. The illegal virus by that one laundromat infected all of Atlas Amusement Enterprise Inc.'s licenses. So everywhere where they have these machines, their licenses are canceled out. Their licenses are canceled out based on just these 2 places. And because the law further states that you cannot bring in replacement machines, that's the end of it.
Wow.
never be
Yeah, that's
licensed
the
again.
yeah. They can never be licensed
They
again.
can never be licensed again.
So we have the potential
To have ended it now.
have ended it now.
Yeah.
Now, let's say DRT does their due process, the investigation and whatnot. Is there a chance for corruption?
Of course. Absolutely. The
And
governor
that's
can
where-
call Daphne Shimizu. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
But that's where us as a people come in.
But they can't dance around the law. The law's the law.
They've been dancing around it. And you know, it's sad. The governor, you just saw the evidence. Jeff
Yeah.
Cook, the business partner of Randy Cunliffe,
He's married to Lulian Grow.
is the first gentleman of the island. The bank accounts for Guam Music Inc. are all at the Bank of Guam. Jackie Marati, who is normally really like loud
Yeah.
about anti-gambling, hasn't said anything in 6 years about this problem. And everything that she warned against with casino gambling, which would not have been a monopoly if those initiatives
It's materializing now.
has materialized because of these game rooms. And why hasn't she said anything? Everything she said would come to fruition has come to fruition, and yet she's nowhere to be found. Is it because she's the senior vice president for communications at the Bank of Guam?
Yes, I would surmise.
So
I mean, it's common sense. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure it out.
well, apparently it takes 3 druggies.
3 drug
Oh,
addicts.
Connie Jo Brennan Shinohara.
I hope this stands up. Well, it should stand up because we're gonna be scrutinizing this every step of the way. We're gonna actually hold accountable DRT. We're gonna hold them accountable.
I am gonna hold DRT accountable for making me run back and forth 4 times.
I was like, Chelo, how come you haven't started yelling? She goes, I'm about to, Chelo. I'm about to. Fix his face.
That when the guy tried to explain to me, and right when he started to explain, I figured they don't have what I'm here for, right?
Yeah.
I said, hold your thought. Let me get my boss on the phone, because anything you explain to me, I might not understand, and I just want him to hear it because my ears was red already.
So punch him.
So I put Troy on video.
Yeah.
And let him explain to Troy. And then, of course, Troy said, if you cannot charge me $1 per page, you can only charge me 10 cents.
The cost of reproduction.
And
I
I
love
never
that.
told you that the guy, I got off the phone with you and we're walking away from each other, he says, by the way, I'm not scared of lawsuits.
Oh, Larry's
And I
scared,
said,
he's not scared of lawsuits,
and I said
huh?
to him, it doesn't matter whether you're scared or not. It's the law and you need to follow it.
Good job, Chelo.
Good job.
Boom.
Oh, Larry, you're not scared of lawsuits, huh?
So in summation,
They wanted to charge us $197 for the
for
paperwork.
paper,
Yeah, and I was like, that's not what the law says. You cannot do that. The law says you cannot charge in excess of the cost of reproduction.
That is the Sunshine Act.
I said, there is no way that Xerox is charging revenue tax $1 per page. That's
What?
ridiculous. They're not even charging 4 cents a page.
wow.
So you know what we got it at? 10 cents for the first page and 2 cents for every page there. Yeah.
That's a
So
hustle.
go eat it, Lawrence
That's a hustle.
Terlahi.
So in summation, the violation.
Can I just talk about how dumb Lawrence Terlahi is?
Sure.
No, we cannot.
Why? Is that bullying?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Oh, we can't bully.
Facebook is really boring these days.
So in summation, the violation at King's created that domino effect that could potentially shut down all
Guam
of
Music Inc.
Guam Music Inc.
Because Guam Music Inc. holds the license.
holds the overall license.
Yeah.
And then MTM's violation could shut down the other distributor on the island,
Atlas. Yes.
So in one fell swoop, we could have brought down
The entire
gaming.
industry, yeah.
That is gonna be awesome.
Without having to wait for that Superior Court decision,
December
without
5th.
any legislative action, Joe San Augustine, Regine Lee, blah, 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 blah.
So do you think their attorneys right now are shuffling their feet?
I think they didn't know because no one did the there was no Jesse Mendiola until Wednesday.
No, talking about. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they just didn't. They overlooked.
They
it.
got complacent.
Yes.
They got too comfortable in the system that they were riding all these years.
They were gaming.
They were gaining. They were so blinded by the blood money that they didn't have any care in the world to make sure that all their I's were dotted and T's were crossed.
Nobody read the regulation.
Perhaps they just signed it and didn't read it.
You know, when you go to DLC, you read the 9419.
Oh, you gotta read that. You gotta read the 94.
Because the 9419 is the rules and regulations of you as an inmate and
Yes.
what your rights are.
You have to know your rights.
Yes.
So
I
then,
love it.
wow. Yeah. Hey. Honey, you deserve McDonald's on the way home.
Thanks, friend.
You too, Eric. Getting me from the chest up.
Let's get to our comments, and then we can talk about anything we want.
I love this.
We're fans, my man.
You know, Jess, you're going to find some disappointments this past year that I've been learning how to do this, because I'm not a politics person.
Yeah.
I just, I think I have common sense and put things together
You
myself.
are politically savvy,
Yeah.
which is very important.
Yeah.
So I'm learning as I go, and there's days where I'm disappointed that it doesn't go our way. I think it goes our way less than it does go our way.
The
You
way,
know what I mean?
The way I would approach this whole thing is I leave it in the hands of my God.
Right.
He's gonna right the wrongs, and it's in His time. And I'm a firm believer in that, because these game rooms have these machines have really destroyed
But
a lot
our
of lives.
voices wouldn't be as strong as it is if we didn't go through what we went
What
through.
we went through, because we've been looked down upon for so many years that nobody's opinion on where I'm from
But
really
at the
doesn't
time
matter.
we're going through this, we're not thinking of
We're
that.
not.
We're just lost in our own, our own world, our own whirlwind, our own fire, our own burdens, And today, now that we're sober, I think the fight is even harder within us because of the things that we've been through. And we wouldn't be able to touch all these people's lives if we didn't go where we went.
The way I
Right?
would describe it too is this:
I believe that.
God took me and threw me where I was at for a purpose, for a reason, because I got the know-how, and I got the wit, and the desire. That once I've learned everything from the dark side, I come back to the light and say, "This is what needs to change."
Because you can take what you learn in the dark and
Yeah.
manipulate the system now.
Yeah.
Right? Now it's our choice.
That was
because
my
we're
basic
sober.
training. The
Right.
streets was my basic training for the battle I'm fighting right now.
Oh, I forgot to tell you, Funland 2, across from Bank Pacific in
Is owned
That
by
I
the
don't
Albany,
Alcorn.
is owned by David and Lucy Alcorn.
Wow.
Yeah, pillars of this community.
Long time pillars.
Yes, the goodness and family restaurant, and we're the bad ones.
And we're the bad ones.
Yeah. Marvin Francisco says, "Good evening, whoa, just whoa." Vanessa says, "Hi Troy, nice seeing you." We took a picture today with
Vanessa
Tim.
Mesa?
Yeah.
I've known that girl since diapers.
Yeah, because she's from Sinania, right?
Yeah.
There's a weather update from the Guam weather forecast. I will look into that in a second. Rich and Joe Meno say, "Stuff's." He didn't say Stuff's.
Yeah.
Stuff's about to go down. Get him, Troy and Johnny. Now let's go. That's on my watch party. Let's go to our page now. Jacob Nakamura says that's a lot of F. Randall Cunliffe. That was a very surprising find. Jacob also says, do those nonprofits have to pay the taxes on the gaming machines? No, they don't. They don't pay any taxes on their for-profit income. Ban the gambling machines. Jacob also says former police lieutenant Larry Castro. Oh, I think that's one of the owners. That's one of the names.
Yes, that's one of the
Larry
names.
Castro. Marcus Veritas says what they do is they enter an agreement to provide the machines to the various businesses and rent the machines for a certain percentage. They collect on the set agreed percentage. I can guess that it is probably a 60-40 split, with Guam Music receiving the higher percentage of the total profits made by each machine. Jacob says Senator St. Augustine told Kandit News today that these game rooms are a good source of income for the government. At what expense, Senator? How many lives have to be destroyed? Recall Senator Joe St. Augustine.
Who's that comments on Kandit News Group?
That's Jacob Nakamura.
Oh, okay. I don't know who he is, but all right. What's up, Nick?
Jacob is a very spirited and professional researcher.
Oh, okay.
Melvin Santos says paper trails, corruption at the highest level must be rectified and eradicated. All must be held accountable, or are they all above the law, untouchables? We will see, Melvin.
We will see.
We will see.
We will see if they're
That's my
untouchable.
prim.
Pollyann Santiago says, Marcus Veritas, you're right. Jacob Nakamura says, so shocked that Emilio Uy, Lucy Alcorn, Randy Cunliffe, Sandra Okada also own blood money game rooms like Gil Shinihara and Connie Joe Brennan. Just to give everyone some perspective about the Okada family, Jose Okada is Monica Okada Guzman's older brother.
Are these the same Okadas as the
Barragata, if I'm not mistaken.
Cross Island Road.
Cross Island Road.
Cross Island Road? Oh, okay.
Is Jose Okada. Jacob says, shame on the Okada family, Jose and Alicia Okada, Sandra Okada, stop hurting our people, stop destroying our culture. And the irony is that Sandra Seki Okada is the president of that seafaring association, that cultural group.
Yes.
And so, well,
These game rooms are eating away at our culture.
at our culture, at our
yeah.
families. The family is the
And
center of the culture.
she's an
That's a
advocate.
paradox. I mean,
What's it, paradox? Is that
yeah,
what it's
that's a paradox. They're eating away at. I don't
Never
know.
mind. Never mind.
Never mind.
called? Richard,
You know what we mean.
You know?
no, I think you're right. I think it's a paradox.
Yeah.
Richard Leon says, Jose, spelled Hoe-se, St. Augustine rakes the dough. Jacob says they get blood money. That's right, the social elite of our island making their millions off the addictions of our people, ripping families apart.
That's exactly
Someone needs
right.
to tell the Archbishop to remove Connie Joe Brennan Shinihara as a Eucharistic minister. Where is the Archbishop?
That is true. That is right. Where is Archbishop?
Where's Jackie
what is it?
Marotti and where's the Archbishop?
Was it Barnes, Beans?
Michael Burns.
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 He's burning the people by not being there for the people.
You rang. Jacob also says, people of Jigo Church, tell your priest that Connie Joe Brennan Shinihara owns game rooms and you don't feel she should be a Eucharistic minister. Hypocrite. Also, he says, Blood Bunny banned the gaming machines. Call your senators and ask them to support Senator Selena Nelson's Bill 226 that would ban them forever. If you see these gambling machines in places that allow children, call the police. 472-8911. Ask for Death Watch. Roz, Javen Meno say, welcome aboard, Patrick Tidegui. Welcome aboard, Patrick.
Hello, Patrick.
Hello, Patrick.
Jacob says, Guam Music Inc. owns the machines that were with the children at King's Restaurant Harmon. Atlas Amusement owns the ones at the laundromat today. They are the only two companies that have licenses for all the gambling machines, the only ones. And now look at these laws and what it says. 7140, suspension or revocation of license, grounds, penalties. A, any limited gaming license granted by the commission. So we read that earlier.
Yeah.
Jacob asked, now what does this mean? Why is this so important? Richard Leon says, can a class action suit be initiated against these operators and owners by the AG for failure to pay taxes all those years? So the other thing that we're going to ask is for Public Auditor BJ Cruz to conduct a forensic audit.
A forensic audit.
Yes.
Oh, that's a complete dissection of their entire.
Because if there's tax evasion that happened, that's federal.
That is a federal crime. Oh man, federal.
Connie Joe. 7114, limited gaming activities authorized and unauthorized. That's part of the Gaming Control Act. Jacob Nakamura says, only machines licensed prior to August 1st, 2001 can operate. If they get their license revoked, they can't ever get a license again. Nobody can, because of the August 1, 2001 monopoly law. Richard Leon asked, they're all related? Jacob Nakamura says, adios game rooms and gambling machines, adios, revoke their licenses, revoke them. Keena McAlston says, good morning, Candid. Good morning, Keita. Richard Leon says, penalize them. Jacob Nakamura says, Reverend Tax needs to revoke the licenses for violating the Gaming Act. Then there will never be any more gambling machines on Guam. Auntie Janice says, remember what I said about you, Troy, bigger and bigger things to come. This is only the beginning. Thanks, Auntie Janice. She says blessings in disguise. Absolutely. Brandy Sanchez Hall says, speaking of laws, senators reform the criminal justice and prison system.
Yes.
And so hopefully Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio's plans are heard. And the powers that be at Adelup, let him do his job.
Hopefully they'll give him a chance to flourish.
Yeah.
Come into his own.
Jacob Nakamura says, exactly. Ironically, because of the law giving the monopoly to only these two companies, when they get their licenses revoked, nobody, not even them, can ever get a machine license again. That is so true. That is so true. brought down by their own greed, he says. Helen Mancinonia says, check for amendments to those documents. Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Tuesday, that's one of the things we're going to review.
That's a very good point.
Brandy says, speaking of DOC, reform, restore, reintegrate. You would think that is supposed to be what DOC does.
Back to Helen's own comment about the amendments.
Mm-hmm.
What you've researched, the laws you got right now, that's the current law?
The Gaming Control Act?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I hope there was no amendments made to it.
No, there wasn't. Not since the Bill 19 back in 2013. I can't remember the public law number. Jackie Sablon Castro says, my son got you all some goodies for after the show. God bless you and your son. Carl LG Bloss says, nothing like working at 4:30 in the morning and watching Kandit. Thank you, Carl.
You got that right, Carl.
Thanks, Carl.
Auntie Janice says, even in the darkness, there is a blessing. Example, you can't appreciate the beauty of the stars unless the darkness comes. That's beautiful.
Oh, my cousin Carla.
My primo Jessie, still so proud of you.
I love that woman. She's the one that's, the Bora family from behind the Spirit Court.
Okay.
That's we're very closely related.
Okay.
She never gave up on me.
She was my coworker.
Where at?
At the governor's office. She was the deputy director of corrections.
Yes, she was the deputy for about, I think, a year or less.
Something like that.
Yeah, I was incarcerated. She came down, she saw me, and she was still mean to me.
She was one of the victims of the Calvo administration.
But she's a great. She doesn't take any BS. That's why I love that woman.
Evelyn Salas says, "Good evening, Evelyn. Thank you so much for the Nancy."
Where is that?
It's I have it.
It's not in the refrigerator.
It doesn't have coconut milk.
Okay, just making sure.
Destiny Barnum says, hi, Troy, Johnny, and Jesse. Jacob Nakamura says, Connie Jo Brennan, she's going to freaking deck me about losing the Denancy Evelyn. I didn't lose it, I have it. Connie Jo Brennan is a Eucharistic minister and yet owns game rooms, which is against our faith. Sandra Okada is a promoter of culture, yet owns game rooms, destroying our culture. Call the police 472-8911 and report the gaming machines near children. Friends, this is a call to action. If you know this is happening, if you're there, call the police. It takes I would say 15 minutes of your time, about 5 minutes for the police to arrive, 5 minutes at the location, and another 5 minutes at the police precinct. That's it. They just ask for your driver's license or your ID or whatever. Don't worry, they won't search you. Paul James Sablon Robico says, wow, Pandora's box open for business. Biba Guam asks, when are you guys going to make Kandit t-shirts? Michael Carlo Netterdog, can you please send...
I can nominate someone to make the Kandit t-shirts. Leanne Michelle. She makes t-shirts.
No kidding.
Yes.
Oh, awesome.
That's her hobby.
The design?
Yeah.
Cool. Leanne Michelle, can you...
I'll start off with just for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sample.
Yeah. And we'll put that on our website so people can purchase it on our online store.
Yeah.
We should probably create that
because we all need to turn on the light.
Tammy Jean Walter says, thank you, Kandit News. Roy Duenas, you're welcome. Roy Duenas says, I've been away for a couple months and coming back to this news is awesome. Way to go, Team Kandit. Jacob Nakamura says, Connie Jo Brennan, we have the bill of lading from Matson. Yes, we do. That's right. Joey Leonguro says, Hoffaday from Georgia. Glad to hear you guys are speaking out the problems and issues we are having on Guam. And solutions. Don't forget solutions. Yes. Dot Chargaloff, I love you. She says, great job, all of you at Kandit. Make my night. Go get them Tigers. I just love you, Dot. Jacob says, we are nobodies who are going to be somebodies because of everybody. You like that?
I love that. Thank you, Jake.
And the 99 shall rise.
Amen.
Amen.
I know, right? It feels good.
Yes.
It does feel
small
good.
feat, but we're getting there because nobody listens to us. I can't help it.
Oh my goodness! I bet she's eating her freaking
Wait! What did they say? Troy has no credibility. Credit this, yo.
Eat this and choke. So, anything else, guys?
No.
We love you, Guam.
We do love you, Guam.
You have a lot to say during the week.
I had a lot to say.
During the week, yeah. I read your posts every day. You always have something.
Well,
to say. Yeah.
You know, for the people of Guam out there, basically, I just want you guys to, I just want to thank you all for the support. It takes more than one voice for our echoes to be heard far and wide, so we can create an impact that will significantly shock the very foundation that these leaders are supposed to be, standing on. And we will tear down that foundation and rebuild it brick by brick with integrity, sweat, blood, tears, with values, morals, and standards. And we will live in that structure and hope for a more better Guam, peaceful Guam, and a happier Guam. Is that far-fetched? I don't believe so, because I have faith.
Amen.
Amen. And I would like to add to that. A year and 8 months ago, on my 5th day of being clean, I never thought that I would have stayed this clean a year and 8 months later. So here I am. If you haven't started to be clean, or if you're thinking about getting clean, you got to jump. Yes. You got to take that step and start today. One day will turn into 2 days, yes, to 10 days, to 30 days, and then 1 year, and a year and 8 months, and here I am. So just you gotta jump.
And one more thing, if you were clean and sober today, pat yourself on the back, because you survived today.
And you made that choice.
You made that choice, and I want you to know you can make that same choice the very next day. Mm-hmm. Trust and believe that the clouds will eventually disappear and the sun will come out once again. You just got to stay focused, stay on track, and keep doing you.
The sun will come out
tomorrow.
Bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow.
Copyright.
Oh.
Even if you sing it yourself.
Wow.
I think that song is too old for my.
Oh yeah.
That song is
right.
Tomorrow's songs they don't tag.
They don't.
Not yet, at least.
Not yet.
They know our translation. We can't even get away with the Facebook algorithm when we use tomorrow.
They translate tomorrow words?
Like,
yes.
We cannot say the CH word.
No way.
Yeah, they know.
Your mom?
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
A little slow right now.
But what's the one in Tang?
No, they know that.
Oh,
They know that.
oh shoot.
It's translated. God.
How long have you guys been out of jail? About 2 weeks, right?
Oh, let's not talk about that.
We don't talk about it.
Oh, you don't talk about it? Okay. All right.
Thank you everybody for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jesse. We really
Thank you.
appreciate it. And our work has just begun.
It's not over yet, guys.
And thank you, Leanne.
Thank you.
And thank you, Prim. It was a great freaking day, wasn't it?
It's a great, awesome week.
Yes.
Awesome week.
Let's take him down, people.
Let's do it.
Let's take him down.
Good night, Guam.
Good night, Guam.